Welcome to another edition of Total Preparation with one of our football players. Obviously, you all know who this is. He's not a freshman anymore. Caden Durham kind of switched it up. Had some other people I had in line to get on the show, but Caden popped up and popped in. So, want to bring him on and kind of talk about not just last year, but this year, some goals he has, and what he wants to do moving forward and how he thinks the team looks this year, kind of like different than last year. So, again, y'all know Caden Durham. Caden, you can speak to everybody, our fans. This show really is a conversation. Really is like a quick little 1-2 where you can just get on here, talk about yourself, things that the fans don't know. I think it gives a deep dive into our program, into the building, more so than they've seen before from our student athletes. And so kind of answer some questions for the fans. And so, obviously, this is a year now. This is your second fall camp. What is different from last fall camp to this fall camp?
I say a difference. Coming from I got here in June last year, so I wasn't getting no one. I was getting one rep, but like I was getting like the back end, like I get like two players here and there, just getting a feel for it. And watching Josh, John, and Murray, and Caleb get all the reps and just seeing how they work. To this year, now I'm getting all the ones reps and probably a little bit of twos too, just for the extra work, just to get a feel. And so just letting it know like you starting back and you're gonna get most of the reps, so you better be ready in game when you get 20 reps. So you got to get your win back up, you know.
Nah, that's I think that's pretty cool. Like again, being a part of your recruitment, the whirlwind and how it was. You one of the fastest players in the country. Seeing you kind of develop into a complete running back last year, like you said, you got here in June. Was you wanted to run? We talked about that, but you wanted to run track, and that was your mom thing. And I get it. Was she was a track star. Your family, for your little sister's a track star. So, we understood that part. But you got here and you was really focused. You had a little moment, right? Like in July, and so July, August really that kind of deterred you a little bit, but your focus got back on track. You had the games that you had toward the end of the season and it kind of built into your off season. And again, you were focused. You understood what it was, and just like you said, this off season, now you got your foot on the gas. Like you have an opportunity to be one of the best in the country, and obviously one of the best in the SEC, and kind of put your stamp on everything in LSU's history.
Right.
So how was your off season?
My off season was different. Like even starting in January, like lifting, I never lifted in January. I always ran track. So this being my first time ever lifting during the actual off season, instead of running track, it was different. I feel different. My body looked different. Just adding more muscle to me, just prepare for the bigger hits, for blocking, just that and the third. It just prepared me for a whole different me, a whole different season, a whole better person. You know, just so when I'm in the game, I can just be a better me than I was last year.
And take the hits. Like you obviously you had the unfortunate incident last year, with a lineman. We ain't gonna say no names falling on your foot. But I mean now, like you said, you have that coat of armor now because you went through a full off season, a spring ball. You rested up in the winter. You did the winter workouts, and like you said, you being a leader, in that room, and you got the younger guys, but you also got Caleb who's in that room. I think it speaks a lot to your development. It speaks a lot to your maturity, going into year two, being a guy and also helping everybody else, right? Like you're not being selfish. Like you're trying to be inclusive with everyone. I see you a lot with JT. I see you a lot with Harlem. Obviously, Caleb being there, and so y'all eat together as a unit. With Coach Frank, I had Harlem on the show, and he talked about how Coach Frank is and how his number one thing about don't fumble the football. We've seen an instance this week from both JT and Harlem, right, about that. And so, just how is that being coached by Frank Wilson?
Being coached by Coach Frank is like it's different. 'Cause he's like a father figure. Then he's like a father figure outside of football. Like he'll help you with any and everything you ask for, or to give you advice when you don't even ask for advice. Just here and there. And then like on the field, it's a whole different person. Like then again, he's still carefree, but he need to he know what you can bring out, and he needs you to bring it out, and he gonna demand that and none less. So just being coached by him just makes you be the best you that you can be. and that's something I take pride in because that's how I was raised. My dad always wanted the best for me, and I feel like that's what I see in Coach Frank, like a father figure. So just knowing that he wants nothing but the best for me, I'm always give him my best because I know that's what he wants. And like him, my father figure. So I feel like I own that,
Right.
and knowing the stuff he did for me, taught me, did for my family the whole nine. So I feel like I owe him
Right.
nothing less.
No, that's family ties, that, and
Hmm.
so it's what would you say is one thing that you've learned from last year that you're gonna put into motion this year to help you?
I say just being more attentive in the meetings, like with everything he say, you gotta write down, or not. Yeah, you gotta write down and actually go over it when you get home. Don't just write it down and just think it's gonna be in the back of your head when it's time to come play the next day. You gotta really write it down, then go home and read over it, write it again, just to make sure you got it, and go make sure you know the ins and outs of plays. Like how the O line gonna block, how the receivers gonna block, what the quarterback reading. How the defense gonna react to the steps you taking on getting the ball. Just a small detail. Well, the small detail that Coach Frank teach you makes you take like another step to be the level that you want to be. And like I said, like I know I want to be a first rounder. So just knowing the little thing that it takes to be a first rounder, I know what I got to do, and
No,
he gonna bring it out me.
no, that's that. And again, you've heard those stories, obviously,
Right.
from the guys that he's coached before, and now being, his one of the few that he's taken from out of state, right? And
Right.
so, how important that was for him to get you here and when you got here, and then you listened again. You got here, and like you said, your first few months wasn't what you
Yeah.
expected. Some of that you contributed to, right? But I
Yeah,
mean,
not
you
being
had your
locked in.
fun, and then you locked in, and then from there, like it took. I remember that moment at the top of the hill at the USC game. Like
Right.
I'll never forget that moment, right? That look on your face, look on your family face, and also that look
Man,
on Coach Frank's face. Like this will never happen again,
I
and it
swear to
never
God.
happened again. I remember that, and so like I was almost
Uh,
scared going up the stairs because I just knew like how your family felt, how you felt about the
man.
game of football. But I realized that after that point, like your mindset was different,
But
and
then again,
so
I figured out I had to realize look in the mirror and like tell myself like this is your fault. You can't look at Coach Frank. Coach Frank gonna put the person on the field as the most prepared, not the most athletic. You feel me? So I was looking at it the whole wrong way. So once I seen that, I know I had to come different. I had to come prepared, knowing all the schemes, all the whole nine, not just how to run the ball or knowing where to hit the hole at, but from blocking, passing, and running.
right.
The whole nine.
Correct. Yeah, and
Hmm.
we obviously, we working on the catching part, but
It's
but
getting better. It's
it's
getting
it's
better.
improving.
Uh
It
huh.
is improving. That's a
Right.
facet of your game that
Right.
like we've seen in practice, and the fans obviously don't get to see as much, right? But
Hmm.
like you've improved that part of your game. I can't wait to, like I said, see it. But what was your one welcome to college football moment?
Hmm. I'll say,
One in practice and one in the
okay,
game.
one in practice. Oh, a one on one with Pert, and we were doing a blocking. I put a hand on my chest and drove him right to the quarterback. I'm thinking this is gonna be something sweet. He ain't do no moves, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. And then now I gotta smooth. I gotta learn how to, move a
Right.
hand. Move your hand fight. This ain't just about shoulders and
Right.
pad or helmet. You really gotta know like hand to hand combat. So that for sure during practice. Then I say during game, I get to Arkansas, man. I caught a little flat. 10 came downhill. And man, it worked my clock, man. I couldn't even. I was seeing black for a little bit. I'm like, Lord, so I know I got to get my head on the swivel, keep everything going,
Right.
and then pad blocking during the game. I think who that was South
Yeah,
Carolina.
South Carolina.
We ain't gonna speak on it too much, but if you watch the film,
Yeah.
yeah, it ain't go well. That was like my first pass program, If you know, you
Right,
know.
yeah, correct. And I
Uh
mean, but that's
huh.
like we could joke about it, but
Right.
I joke about it no matter what.
No
I'm
matter
gonna tell you
what.
about it right after the play.
Uh
But
huh.
it's the fact that you can grow from that and right,
Mhm.
try to improve because you do
Right.
want to put your best foot forward. You do want to be the best version of yourself, and I think we're really doing that right now. Like I've seen you clean your body up. I've seen you eat better. I've seen you hydrate. I've seen you work. And
Right.
so like the drills. when you go back home and not home, but you're from Oklahoma, but when you go back to your family's place in Texas and you putting in work with your coach, shout out to him. And you just doing more and more things, right, to elevate your game. Like, I appreciate that part. What is if someone asks, Caden Durham had a great season, if he do what?
A great season? I say 2K all purpose off the rip. Then I say win a Doe Walk Award. If I don't do none of that, then I ain't a great season. It's an all right season to me.
All right. I mean, you'll be the first running back to win an award at LSU, right?
So with that being said, what's coming after that.
Right. No doubt.
Uh-huh.
And so that don't even need to be discussed. We know what the goal is. We know the 1-0 mindset, the mentality, but we also know what the end goal. Yes, you keep the main thing the main thing, and so it's in the distant future, but it's in your eyesight. And so, but I appreciate that when you talk about that. It's just a new level, right? And you kind of, like, last year you broke on the scene. This year, people know who you are. They expect you. They expect our offense to be. You seen the weapons. Again, I had Harlem on here. You got JT. You got Caleb, who's still a bull. Full speed ahead to Morris, full pass. So you already know what type of day it's going to be. Very physical. And so
a whole lot of emotions.
Oh yes, and so very fulfilling. But I think we're built for it. I think we're still building it. We're not a finished product, but you're a key piece to that. And so just the work you did in all season, others saw it, and it kind of pushed them too. Like you say, Harold, doing the things he's done, elevating his game. You've seen him fly around lately in practice, like the best version of him. Like what player have you seen that you're excited to see on game day?
Hey, well, I'm gonna keep it a band. I gotta see 3, because just seeing him come from being injured, then coming back the last few games and making plays that nobody else making. It's just like knowing what we got. Really, the whole receiver group. I ain't gonna lie, the whole receiver group from Chris, Double A, Trey Bauer, Zay, like just the whole group.
Right.
Like, it's just like.
I mean, you got Barry on.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Nick.
You got KP. You got Nick. You got Colin, KB.
I ain't even want to go through the whole group.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jelani, Phil.
Like, it's just the whole group, like the whole team.
Fat, man-child.
Like, and come on, these freshmen.
Yes.
It's just like the whole receiver group. I feel like, we got a run game, but third down, we airing it out.
We just explosive. Explosive weapons.
Exactly. So, like I said, like, just wait. I just can't wait to block and just look up and just see the ball thrown in the air and watch somebody.
Right. Go get it. Yeah, the blurs.
It's just something going to be amazing. It's
yes.
A whole lot of lights going on in that stadium.
Correct. And we need that.
Man.
We need that. No,
that's too.
Yes, and the energy, and we're going to bring that. We're going to, like, obviously, the defense has brought that energy the last few days. And so, like, it's iron sharpening iron. Like, it's been great. But again, like I said, with you, Coach Frank, Coach Brad getting the O-line together, everybody doing all that chirping. We're not worrying about nothing. Like, they getting together. And so it's important, like I said, to, get together and keep working and keep building. But, I mean, that's, you talking about your off season, you talking about what you expect, your expectations, was what we think don't need to be said. We know the work we're putting in. But like I said, I just, wanted to get you on here, man. Caden Durham, best back, SEC back, and best back in the country at the end of the season, like you said, what you're looking for. But wanted to get you on here so the fans can know who you are and see what you do. I appreciate you for coming on.
Man, it's good. You ain't got to ask questions.
Yes, sir.